Okay, we're going to go through cosine law again today, but specifically we're going to use it to find an angle. So in this case, that's when we have the measurements of all the sides of the triangle. We need to find the angle we're looking for, okay? And in this case, I can find any angle. I'm just going to name my triangle. So which angle, so the angle opposite of which side would you guys like to solve? 50? Sure. Okay, so we would like to solve this angle here. Now, remember, we can name the triangle anything we want. And because we're using cosine law where our C is the variable we're looking for, we're going to name the unknown angle C. Okay? That means this opposite side is side C. From there, A and B aren't as important. We can name whichever we like. This will be A, and this will be B. Okay? So with that being said, we have a lot of information. We have the opposite side. We're looking for this angle. Well, in our formula, the angle is actually represented by the uppercase C at the end of the formula. Okay? So we're going to plug our values in. We know that 50 is the measurement of side C. So we're going to plug 50 in for C. 55 is the measurement of side B. So we're going to plug 55 in for B. And hopefully this is, let's see it, yeah. And side A is 53, so we're going to plug 53 in for A. So we'll rewrite this little formula on the right here. So C now becomes the number 50 squared is equal to A, which is 53, plus B, which is 55, squared, of course, minus 2 times 53 times 55 times cos C. So we're kind of condensed in here. I'm just going to move this down so we have some room to work with. I know you guys can't all do that. Okay. So, now that this is our formula, we're going to equate some things, and we're eventually going to be isolating for the variable C at the very end of this equation. We want to isolate for that. First, we'll equate a bunch of these numbers. We'll need a calculator for a lot of these because we're squaring some large numbers here. Let's get a calculator out. So the first one we're going to work with is 50 squared. So I have 50 squared is 2,500. So 2,500. Anyone have a calculator that can help us out as we go? I'll take that as a no. Okay, 53 squared is 2,809. 55 squared, 3,025. Now remember, this is like multiplying negative 2 times 53 times 55, so we'll do this all in one shot. And again, that will be multiplied by this cos 50. Okay? So negative 2 times 55 times 53. So negative 5,830. What did I say, 5,830? Yeah. Times cos C. I'm going to just double check that number. Okay, good. So I've equated a bunch of this. Now remember, this is where our large error is. Because this is multiplication, I cannot equate these together. The goal is to isolate for C, which means I want to move all these other things to the other side of the equation. Okay? So I'm going to move our 2,809 first. I'm going to move it to the left side. And when I move it, what will it become on the other side? Yeah. In the same step, I'm going to move the 3,025. What will it become on the other side? Great. So let's do that all. That becomes 2,500. Subtract 2,809. Subtract 3,025. Okay. Equal sign. Is equal to, all that's left is this negative 5,830 cos C. We'll equate what's on the left here. So 2,500. Let's make sure you can see what we're doing. Subtract 2,809. Subtract 3,025. Negative 3,334. So negative 3,334. Now this is a negative number. This seems odd. Let's see if this will still work for us. How do I isolate our C here. What do we need to move? Yeah, and because this is multiplication, when I move this to the other side, what will it become? Yeah, it's not that it'll become positive, that we have to use division, the opposite sign. So it's actually still negative. We're going to divide this number by negative 5,830. And already that should give us some information. I'll be dividing a negative by a negative, so what kind of answer will we get? Yeah, we'll get a positive. So this value here, divided by 5,830 when it's negative, is equal to positive 0.571. 0.571. What's left on the right side? Cosine C. Are we done? Is that our answer for our angle? No. What are we trying to isolate? Just C. So how do I move cos to the other side? That's right, the inverse. So when we move it over, it becomes inverse. So we'll get cos inverse of our value here, 0.571, is equal to the angle C. So angle C will be equal to, so I find my cos inverse. Here's my cos inverse of that in degrees, 55.1, so we'll say approximately 55. Okay, so approximately 55 degrees. So this angle here is 55 degrees. Great. Do I have to use cosine law again to solve the other two angles? Can I? I definitely can. What might be faster? Yeah, using sine law. And then once I've used sine law to solve two of them, what would I do to find the third one? Subtract from 180, because I already have two. There is a tan law, but we don't learn it, okay? All right, so that's cosine law, finding our angles. Okay, so actually, let's continue this. We've taken this triangle and start on another page just so we have room to write. I'm going to use sine law to solve the next angle, okay? So this is the information we have now. We just discovered that this angle, written by kindergarten, is 55, and these are our lengths. So let's choose another angle. Which angle would you like to solve for? A? Okay. I don't remember which was which. Is it? This is A? Perfect. So let's solve for A. Great memory. This was B, that's right. And this was our C. Good. So let's solve for angle A. So if we were to write out all of sine law, it's sine A over A is equal to sine B over B, which is equal to sine C over C. So let's plug in all of the info. We have the measurements of every single side, so we're going to plug those in. And we have the angle of C. Now the goal is to solve angle A. So do I need to keep this sine B over B in the equation? No, I won't. I'll plug the info in so that you can see what I mean in it. We're solving for angle A. Side A is a measurement of 53, is equal to sine B. Side B was how long? 55? Yeah. And then sine angle C is 55 degrees, right? Divided by side C, which is 50 meters. So let's take a look at this. The goal is to solve for A. Okay? I have a complete ratio. We need one complete ratio, which means I need an opposite side and angle. That kind of looks like a 60, so I'm going to change that to be a 50. Right? Which means I'm going to set equivalent ratios equal to each other, so I can drop this part. I don't need to solve for B right now, because our goal is to solve for A. So I'm going to drop this off, and it's going to be sine A over 53 is equal to sine 55 over 50. The goal here is to get sine A by itself, or specifically A. So I need to move what to the other side?
53.
Yeah, and when we move 53 to the other side, what operation will we use? That's right, it'll become multiplied by. Okay? So we're multiplying by it. So this will say sine A is equal to, and let's equate all of this. Sine 55 times 53 divided by 50. So 55 sine, that's the first part, divided by 50. Okay? And then times 53. 0.868. So 0.868. Is that it? Are we done?
No.
What do we have to move? And when I move it over to solve for the angle, right, becomes inverse. So A is equal to sine inverse of 0.868, which means angle A is equal to, so I find sine inverse of this, the inverse of sine, approximately 60 degrees. Approximately 60 degrees. So now we have two parts of the triangle. This is 60 degrees. So to find this third one, what do we do? Yeah, we know that altogether it's going to be 180. So we subtract these two angles, 55 and 60, from that. So we'll subtract 60, which gives us 120. And then we'll subtract 55, which will give us 35, 65, is it? 65? Is that right? Pretty sure it's 65. Let's double check. 5 and 5 is 10. Yeah? Okay. So 65 degrees. So there we go. We've now used cosine law, sine law, and our information about triangles to solve all of the angles in this triangle.